Transparency and accountability underscored at Procurement Symposium, NDIA in preparedness mode in light of heavy rainfall, and MARAD intensifying awareness on safer travels on the waterways. You're watching Weekly Digest, a government information agency program that keeps you updated on what the government has been doing. For the details, I'm your host, Vinith Meshwar. With a mandate of ensuring that the principles of transparency, public accountability, and good governance are honored, the Finance Ministry hosted its annual procurement symposium, engaging all the key players who are paid for services by taxpayers. The purpose of this procurement forum was to sensitize the public and the relevant stakeholders on the procurement opportunities, to ensure that adequate and accurate information is disseminated to the public and to potential bidders, and to clarify any misconception that may arise in the public procurement process. The establishment of the Procurement Commission was one of the issues that dominated the discussions during the session. Insert.
Long gone are the days when a permanent secretary or an REO or a head of an agency could pick up a phone and call a friend and says, I got a job for you. Guyana today has one of the most modern and progressive procurement acts in this part of the world. It is the PPPC government, while they were having a majority in Parliament, enacted the Procurement Act that provides for a public procurement commission.
The appointment of the members to the Public Procurement Commission is not the sole responsibility of the government.
2/3 of all the members of Parliament must agree on the names for the Public Procurement Commission. So it's not the PPPC putting up a name alone and the opposition putting up a name. Even if the PPPC puts up names, the opposition got to agree. If the opposition puts up names, the PPPC has to agree. You have to have consensus.
The government is committed to the establishment of the said commission, and President Donald Ramotar continues to engage the opposition on this matter, hoping to get consensus on the names of all the nominees. Improved electricity supply within 1 year will move LATAM's commerce and industries forward, despite plans for a slight increase in tariffs.
Plans for a new power station situated on high ground, along with 2 new power generating sets, are measures being put in place to address the power supply issue in LATAM Region 9. These plans are gearing towards improving conditions in the industrial and commercial center of the border town and meeting the increased demand for power.
We have gone through a pretty tight period. We have had a number of days without power. We've had days with maybe 6 hours or 8 hours. Now I think we're at about 23 hours.
Nevertheless, annual increases in fuel prices on the international market have determined the need for a slight increase in the cost of electricity for customers, and this will be applied in LATAM.
LATAM Power Company is at the moment $40 in default, $40 less. So we have a problem where our support from the government, our subsidy of $105 million is on projecting for the year. It looks like it's going to be a shortfall. And if we have LATAM growing as is projected, the shortfall would even be more.
Government remains committed to ensuring that all Guyanese can have access to electricity and continues to work on measures that would lower the cost in the near future.
The Ministry of Agriculture, through the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, is working to ensure a full level of preparedness of the country's drainage system to meet any likely flooding situation in low-lying areas during the current rainy season.
In light of the forecast of more rains, the NDIA, in coordination with all the concerned local authorities, has been monitoring the various pumps and sluices and working to correct those few identified as being defective.
We have 128 pumps that operate along the coast of Guyana by various authorities: NDIA, GAISUCO, RDCs, municipalities, and RDCs. And most of them are in working state, and that's good news. We are ensuring that there are about 4 or 5 pumps with some problems, and we are trying to ensure that before the next big rain come, that they are in working condition.
There is some amount of siltation at some sluices, and this is another area of intervention that is receiving the ministry's attention.
The sluices are all working. However, because of siltation on both sides of the sluice, mainly on seaside, some of the sluices we were unable to open during the last heavy rainfall.
Meanwhile, the Agriculture Minister reported that the rainy season has had some impact on rice, but fortunately 96% of the first crop has already been harvested.
The Home Affairs Ministry continues to ensure that its agencies are well equipped to carry out their mandate. The Guyana Prison Service is the latest agency that received a transportation boost.
On May 29, the keys to several vehicles were presented to the Director of the Guyana Prison Service, Dale Erskine, by Minister of Home Affairs Clement Rohi. The vehicles were funded through the 2012 national budget.
The prison service, like the other discipline services, require means of transportation, so they're able to execute their various responsibilities and duties. And I believe that this contribution to the prison service by the government will go a far way in assisting the prison service to proceed in an effective and efficient direction.
The fleet included all-terrain vehicles, motorcycles, a pickup and truck each.
They will here to help us administratively, operationally and agriculturally. This vehicle no doubt has come to move the prison service and give it the resource capability to operate in a very efficient manner. We want to assure the Ministry of Home Affairs and the government and the people of Guyana that we will take care of these vehicles. We ensure they're used for the purposes which we are purchased. We intend to ensure that the government and the people of Guyana benefit from this donation.
Recently, the Guyana Police Force received 19 vehicles valued $61 million to boost its operational efficiency.
Residents of Linden, Cane Grove, and Wales West Bank Demerara have benefited from a 3-day optometry outreach hosted by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with the University of West Indies, University of California, and the UC Berkeley School of Optometry.
A team of optometrists and 30 students from the University of Guyana, 16 students from the University of the West Indies in Trinidad and Tobago, and 7 students from the University of California, Berkeley School of Optometry attended to residents at Wales.
When they've got the prescription, they come and select a frame, and then members of the Guyana Association of Optometrists will be doing the lab work free of charge to fit up the spectacles to suit the particular patient, and then we will have to arrange to come back and deliver the spectacles at the various health centers within the next few weeks to the next month so everybody can get their spectacles to prescription.
Persons found with cataract or other eye-related diseases were referred to the ophthalmology hospital in Port Morant in Berbice through the ministry for surgery.
We targeted the areas that we see most needed, like Wales. We decided to do Wales because last year the Ministry of Health had an outreach where we saw over 600 patients, and these patients, out of the 600 patients, we realized that about 30 had surgery, and there were a lot of patients who had needed spectacles or reading glasses, and that is why we choose Wales, so that some of the patients will be beneficiary.
Residents were pleased with the free services provided to them and extended gratitude to the ministry and team.
There's more to come. Stay tuned.
350 million Guyana dollars will be used to facilitate the Amerindian Development Fund project, which provides financing to support the socio-economic development of Amerindian communities and villages through the implementation of the Community Development Plans, CDPs. These 180 CDPs will result in indigenous communities becoming more self-sufficient and residents enjoying a better standard of living. Guyana's economy grew by 4.8% in 2012, the 7th consecutive year of positive growth. This expansion was due to the macroeconomic policies put in place by government to protect the local economy and ensure a better life for all Guyanese. Economic growth is projected at 5.3% for 2013.
The 2013 national budget grants exemptions from personal income tax to first-time homeowners whose taxable income goes towards paying interest on mortgage of up to $30 million from a commercial bank or building society. The 2013 national budget grants exemptions from personal income tax to first-time homeowners whose taxable income goes towards paying interest on mortgage of up to $30 million from a commercial bank or building society.
Those desirous of visiting Monkey Mountain in Region 8 have to travel by either ATV or airplane, the latter accounting for the least traveling time. In an effort to increase accessibility and allow for easier movement by villagers, the government has invested in a road project that leads into the community.
Minister of Public Works Robertson Ben, the Regional Executive Officer Ronald Harsiwak, engineers and other members of the Regional Democratic Council inspected the work done on the Monkey Mountain Road.
We visited first the end of the road, ultimately, which is at Cato. Then we flew to Monkey Mountain, rose the flag, and came down the road on ATVs over 7 hours, a very rugged trip. The road is finished up to, basically laid out up to Rokomoto. It is mostly fully complete up to Tipiru. And work is restarting. They're mobilizing with respect to sections of the road and to complete the surfacing.
Residents have complained that the school children who have to walk several miles to and from school were being affected by the state of the road, particularly during the rainy season.
We have to hurriedly finish the gravel surfacing of those parts from Tipiru going to Urongparo. So that will be done just now, and that was a valid complaint from the residents at Tipiru particularly. But going southwards to Karasabai, the road is in and beyond Karasabai going to Letem. The finished road is in excellent condition. Minibuses are now going to Karasabai.
It is anticipated that with the completion of the road, that the time of travel would be reduced significantly and the community would be more easily accessible for investments, such as tourism.
In the transportation sector, great emphasis is being placed on the safety of passengers. The Maritime Administration has intensified awareness of safety when using the waterways with focus on saving lives in case of a mishap.
A seminar was held under the theme Focusing on Safety is a Worthwhile Investment, sought to increase fishermen's knowledge about safety measures while at sea. This took into consideration safety of the vessel and the crewmen.
I want us to take stock of this situation, have an introspective look at the matter, determine the way forward for the associations who you should establish. You should have a safety representative who will go and talk to you in each grouping. This is the safest thing to do. This is the price of a life jacket. I always say it's best to tell the women really to buy the life jacket and give the man. We're having a situation where we're losing about 4 young persons every month regularly to mishaps, accidents, most of which are avoidable. And that we're not only losing the boats, the engines, the cargo, but we're losing young people. And that it has a tremendous impact, more significantly on the families, the partners, the mothers, the children, but also on the wider economy, and that it's unsustainable.
The culture that the Maritime Administration Department is trying to break is the belief that a life jacket cannot save a person's life.
The culture that we're trying to inculcate here is that safety shouldn't be viewed as a burden. We want you to live safely. It's helpful, as Minister mentioned, the cost of accidents, the downtime, the loss of stocks, the loss of cold, the loss of fish, and most importantly, obviously, the loss of lives. So we're trying to work with the industry, be it the fishing industry, be it the speedboat industry, even with the seagoing ships, it's all ships.
During the seminar, presentations were done by members of the Coast Guard, Guyana Police Force, Guyana Fire Service, and the Maritime Administration.
For every boat, for every life lost, it's a significant blow to our industry and our economy. So therefore, I'd like to urge you all that for you to bear in mind that there's no value, there's no cost that you could attach to a human life.
There's more to come. Stay tuned.
The 2013 budget will bring substantial relief to property owners. Tens of thousands of low and middle income earners with net property value of below $40 million will no longer be subject to property tax. From 2014, the tax-free threshold for property tax on individuals will change from $7.5 million to $40 million. Pensioners are to receive a 25% increase in their pension, or $12,500 monthly, with effect from May 1. Over 42,500 pensioners are to benefit from this increase. Government will also provide each pensioner with assistance of up to $20,000 per annum to pay GPL for their electricity charges.
Ghana's economy grew by 4.8% in 2012, the seventh consecutive year of positive growth. This expansion was due to the macroeconomic policies put in place by government to protect the local economy and ensure a better life for all Guyanese. Economic growth is projected at 5.3% for 2013. Exercise Connectivity, which attracted a cross-section of participants from various institutions and organizations, was described as successful and a learning experience by CDC Director General Colonel Chabilal Ramsirup.
A lot of work went into it, particularly from our staff, Mr. Jones and the GDF. But I want to thank the other participants in today's proceedings for the hard work that they put in and the valuable contributions in the remarks, because I think we would have learned a lot from the little discussions we had here after the exercise. We'd also learn a lot on what we need to have prepared in case we have to move in a hurry.
The Civil Defense Commission head reminded participants that in any disaster, how fast one reacts can be crucial in dealing with the after effects.
In disasters, speed is very important. We always talk about the golden hour. How fast you react depends on how many lives you will save, how many livelihoods you will save, which will make the response and the recovery very easy. Or not very easy, but at least more easier. Disasters is not an easy thing, and people do not recognize it until it happens. I was very surprised in the response I had and a number of agencies as well as the regions, because they are the first ones to cry for help.
Exercise Connectivity was a prelude to the upcoming Exercise Floodgate, which will be held across Guyana to test regional and community responses to simulated disasters in October. It was aimed at testing communications by various means, such as cell phones, high or low frequency radios, landlines, ham radios, internet, and satellite phones. Plans and procedures of the Civil Defense Commission and its supporting network agencies were also tested.
The Guyana Revenue Authority, now housed at a new government location, is continuously working on enhancing its efficiency. Recently, the media was afforded a tour of this new location.
Several department heads gave the media a tour of the ground floor of the New Camp Street facility, where most of the services are accessed by customers, and gave explanation for the services offered and procedures of the respective departments.
My name is Gavin Lowe. I'm the senior manager in charge of the tax exemption area. This is called the remission area. Taxpayers are advised to lodge their applications for tax exemptions at the lodgement area, where the documents will be processed within 3 working days.
Here we have compliances, we have the liability, and we have persons who might be selling their land, motor vehicle, and also we have persons who tender in the tender board and needs a compliance certificate. We also have that is being done here. At this time, persons are requested to lodge their application with the unit, and they're given a specified time when to return for that application.
Persons who will first time have a license. The process begins here, where you lodge a license. And when you lodge, in the case of a new and also for professional, you have to come back in 2 days. In case if you need a duplicate license or if you have a renewal of a license, it will take 5 working days.
Items that are being smuggled, who the persons are that are smuggling, then those persons can make contact with us here at the Ghana Revenue Authority and provide us with the necessary information. Of course, we want to ensure that that information can be verified. So when you're calling us, it's not just to tell us, oh, I heard that somebody is smuggling, but you need to provide us with all the necessary details.
All of the services are now offered at the Camp Street location. On a normal day, the GRA is visited by over 2,000 people, and that amount doubles when deadlines for tax submissions are closed.
Everything is at one location, one shop as you see. You would expect that with all this activity being carried on at one location, you would have a lot of congestion, you would have a lot of people visiting here. Yes, I can tell you there is a lot of people visiting here. Apart from the staff, which numbers some 700 in the location, you have, I would estimate, in excess of 2,000 people coming here on a daily basis. And that doesn't take account of the due dates, when you could have maybe 3 times that amount. I refer to the due dates for filing your returns, paying your relevant taxes. We are proud of what we've achieved, and we want the Guyanese public to know that we have done this mainly because we have you at heart.
In October last, the Guyana Revenue Authority consolidated all its operations at its new head office. The new location accommodates the Customs and Trade Administration, License Revenue Division, the Value-Added Tax and Income Tax Divisions, the Human Resources and Financial Division, and the GRA Secretariat.
And now here's this week's edition of Perspectives with Dr. Prem Mizir.
There are some people who do not recognize and understand reality even when they come face to face with that reality. And people should accept something that is real and good for the country. A surge in patriotism should accompany that reality, which would make Guyana a better place. Yet, that surge in patriotism seems to be on the missing list in this country from time to time. For on the local scene, we seem to want to extinguish the low-carbon development strategy, a reality with revenue-bearing potential for Guyana. One of former President Bharat Jagdev's signal achievements is the low-carbon development strategy, which is both a historical triumph and a political albatross. For since the November 28, 2011 national and regional elections, a resolute effort has been underway to demonize the low-carbon development strategy. Today, this strategy has graduated to international proportions, catapulting Guyana onto the global stage, permanently symbolizing Guyana as a major contributor to mitigating climate change. Da Fonseca and others in No Forest Left Behind showed that reduced tropical deforestation may mitigate climate change. Reduced destruction of tropical forests became a new money phenomenon whereby countries with low deforestation rates could generate revenues. In those early years of the climate change discussions, the high forest cover and low deforestation rate countries were not part of the scheme of things in the trading of saved carbon coming from decreased deforestation. These high forest cover and low deforestation countries are Panama, Colombia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Peru, Belize, Gabon, Guyana, Suriname, Bhutan, Zambia, and French Guyana. Yes, Guyana is part of the high cover, low deforestation countries. And Da Fonseca and others also noted that it would be a mistake to exclude these countries, as they store about 18% of tropical forest carbon. And without providing them with carbon credit incentives, or money if you like, these countries may have little motivation to protect their rainforests. According to Da Fonseca and others, too, Guyana, with 77% forest cover and a 0.0% average deforestation rate per year in 2005, was expected to earn $57 million per year. That is US dollars. That is the fundamental idea in bringing to the fore the low carbon development strategy, to earn money for Guyana's development. The reality is that Guyana's forest cover can generate revenues. An opposing view is that Guyana's forest cover is less than what the low carbon development strategy suggests. But that view is largely irrelevant. The important point is the reality that Guyana's rainforest is a revenue generator. In fact, Guyana is the first high forest cover and low deforestation country to spearhead the low carbon development strategy and to further fortify its status among those countries with high forest cover and low deforestation. Guyana had needed a protected area network, which became a reality in October 2011. This was the Kanuku Mountains Protected Area with 611,000 hectares and the Shell Beach Protected Area with 125,000 hectares. Amid these efforts, the Norway-Guyana $250 million US low carbon development strategy relationship continues to take a beating. The critics failed to take a long, hard look at the bigger picture of how tropical rainforests mitigate global climate change, and the fact that the low carbon development strategy for Guyana is a revenue earner. On the local scene, there are people whose pastime is to reject reality when that reality works in the country's interests. Perhaps they need to have a surge or an injection of patriotism. I thank you very much.
And with that, we've come to the end of this week's program, but before we go, here's a recap of the highlights. Transparency and accountability underscored at Procurement Symposium. NDIA in preparedness mode in light of heavy rainfall, and MARAD intensifying awareness on safer travel on the waterways. Remember that Weekly Digest and other government information can be found on our website www.gina.gov.gy, or you can send us your comments and suggestions at gina@gina.gov.gy. Thank you for watching, and do join us again next week for another program. Until then, be safe and have a great week ahead. Goodbye. During Cabinet's meeting on May 28, His Excellency Donald Ramotar and government ministers discussed several issues of national concern. These were subsequently relayed to the media.